New Twitter signups hit all-time record despite cancel campaign. I mean, who would have thought it? People love free speech. Who would have thought that? People like to talk about things and not have to worry about government censoring them. Who would have thought that? They don't want elites to tell them what they can and can't talk about. Who would have thought that? But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Now, when you hit that alarm bell, hit it again, and you can change it from personal to all. That way, you get all notifications from when I'm putting out stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out even more news. So check that out as well. All right, let's talk about this news here. Since Elon Musk bought Twitter with the pledge to restore free speech protections, the media and political establishment have maintained an unrelenting campaign to use pressure from corporations and foreign governments to force him to restore censorship policies. I mean, this is the utter one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen. That we were built on freedom of speech. This country was built on freedom of speech, and the left has turned freedom of speech into a bad thing. And then they were like, "Oh, hate speech is gonna go wild and all that stuff." But even though hate speech so-called hate speech, I should say, has gone down since Elon Musk took over too, so they can't even cry that now. But they still want to curb your freedom of speech, your First Amendment. Reporters have covered seemingly every celebrity declaring that they are leaving the site or even selling their Teslas in protest. I think it was who was it? Sarah Silverman, I think, that sold her vehicle. She sold her Tesla and then bought. And she was like, I don't want to have it because of this guy and whatever. And then went and bought a Volkswagen, which we know who started Volkswagens. You know what I'm saying? So these people not only they're dumb. These people are stupid. I mean, what you expect? But as companies join the boycott, commentators gleefully announced the quote death and collapse and demise of the social media company, with some mocking Musk's endangerment of billions for free speech. New figures, however, appear to show that the public is solidly with Musk on the free speech issue. Most people, most Americans, love free speech. They love to be able to debate, to conversate, and not have to worry about what they say. But new signups at Twitter are at an all-time high with 2 million new signups per day. That is crazy. As these companies and activists demand censorship, customers are signing up en masse to embrace the greater diversity of viewpoints and expression at the company. And that's one thing that the left do not want. They claim they're for diversity, but they do not want diversity of thought. That's the one thing you can't be diverse in. You can't be divergent in any of the thinking, or they will come after you. They will attack you and call you all types of names and all types of stuff. I mean, it's the stuff that these so-called people that say they're tolerant. I call them the tolerist, are some of the most anti-tolerant people you will ever meet. But while companies are yielding to demands from the left, they cut off ad revenue until Musk restores censorship. Users are flocking to the site. The over 2 million new signups per day represent a 66% increase over the same time frame last year, and this is according to figures released by Musk. Of course, it has long been known that the public wants more, not less free speech. It is the political establishment that is struggling to retain control over speech on social media at any cost, and that's what it's all about. That's why they're attacking Musk so much. Facebook even tried a massive commercial campaign to convince the public to embrace censorship. They love telling you what you can and can't talk about. And President Joe Biden, he's the number one anti-free speech person, but he led calls for censorship on social media, which have been largely heated by companies like Facebook. And we know that Zuckerberg came out and admitted that fact. I've done a video on that, and on Twitter. Biden is accusing Twitter of, quote, spewing lies all across the world by seeking to reduce one of the largest censorship systems in history. President Biden has previously accused social media companies of, quote, killing people by refusing to impose robust censorship over a wide range of subjects. Many of those banned or censored were doctors with opposing views on the data and the science related to the pandemic. Now, some of those doctors were the co authors of the Great Barrington Declaration, which advocated for a more focused Stupid 19 response that targeted the most vulnerable population rather than widespread lockdowns and mandates. Many are now questioning the efficacy and costs of the massive lockdowns, as well as the real value of masks or rejection of natural immunities and alternatives to the jab. You can't talk about any of that stuff. But likewise, those who allege that the virus may started in the lab in China was widely denounced, and I was one of those people. And the views barred from being uttered on the social media platform, and was later learned that a number of leading experts raised this theory with Fauci and others early in the pandemic, and of course we know he ignored that. Um, we all know where it started at. But we are now seeing increase in evidence of back channels used by government and political figures to maintain a censorship system by surrogate in the social media companies and foreign allies. That should be illegal when the government has a back channel, because they can't directly say, hey, censor this person because our First Amendment, because our freedom of speech. So they have a back door where they can send messages to these social media companies, be like, hey, censor this or censor this person or kick this person off your platform. That is illegal, and I'm hoping someone go and sue the government behind this. I think I've seen some people trying. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. I think some people are suing the government behind this, but I'll get back at you with that. And President Biden, however, has denounced Musk as a guy who, quote, goes out and buys an outfit that spews lies all across the world. He did claim there are no editors anymore. There are no editors anymore. Now he's talking about spewing lies. Biden himself talking about spewing lies. And the president added, quote, how do people know the truth? How do they make a distinction between fact and fiction? There's so much going on, and we're in the middle of this. So you saying people they can't figure it out on themselves? People are too stupid to discern for themselves. So we need government to allow us to listen to certain things and stop us from listening to things that might be lies or truths. And who's the arbiter of truth? Who's to say that something is true or false? You gonna trust the government to tell you that? Indeed. Perish the thought that citizens might be left to pursue the truth on their own without the government or surrogates in the media framing it for them. How could we possibly, quote, know the truth with our social media overlords? I mean, come on now. Apparently millions each day are signing up to do precisely that. And as for Musk, he's predicting 1 billion users in a year. That is crazy. And what a nightmare for many in Washington. 1 billion people discussing contemporary issues freely without editors telling them what the truth is. Let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.